What is the state of the hog industry? After talking with several producers here at the World Pork Expo, the answer to that question may not be as straightforward as you think. Farm Journal's Pork has helped to assemble a team of analysts ready to bring perspective to the conversation.
Live from Capital City, USA, via Farm Journal Studios, this is AgriTalk. This morning, we'll begin with a conversation with Harrison Furlow from the National Pork Producers Council. Then it's a discussion with Brad Eckberg, Randy Caker, and Dr. Kara Hayden. Directly following the news, Greg Henderson from Drovers. I'm handsome newsman Davis Michelson.
Also
the host of AgriTalk, Chip Powery. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, hey, I'm good. Okay. Davis, dare I say it is the pork capital of the world.
That's right. That's
the pork capital of the world down here in Des Moines.
Of the known universe, because I think, I think those pigs in space that they used to show on TV when we were kids, I don't think those are real. I don't think there are pigs in space. I think that, yes, it's the most important meeting in the known universe that you're at now.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. All right, and welcome to Des Moines and the World Pork Expo. Big thank you to United Animal Health for making our coverage from the World Pork Expo possible. We're going to be learning more from UAH later in the show. Plus, we're going to talk about the immersion program that's available from the National Pork Producers Council and the National Pork Board. Harrison Furlow just stopped by. He's excited about having the conversation. I'm looking forward to getting into that with him. And then Jennifer Scheich, the editor of Pork, just walked up. She's got a team that is ready to talk about the state of the pork industry. And it is a hot topic here at the World Pork Expo. We've got animal health issues. There is the Farm Bill. So there's policy issues. And then there's profitability issues. And we're going to get all of that crammed into the conversation yet this morning. No doubt about it. All right.
Wow, dude. Yeah.
You ready? Should we hit
I'm ready.
it?
Yeah,
all
sure
right,
thing.
man.
I'll start with the National Weather Service short-term outlook. Areas of heavy rain and strong winds ongoing in the northwest. Showers and severe thunderstorms over parts of the upper middle Mississippi Valley and Central Plains may produce damaging gusts, large hail, and localized areas of flash flooding. A heat wave will impact the southwest United States and California's Central Valley. We got a daily sale to talk about, Chip. Private exporters reported sales of 152,000 metric tons of corn for delivery to unknown destinations. That's for the 23-24 marketing year. Unknown in for corn, Chip.
Yeah, it's good. The demand is starting to come into the market, and we really like to see that. Obviously, I'd like to know who it's going to because I'm going to have more faith in it if it's a sale to Mexico or to Colombia or even Spain than I am if it's a sale to China right now.
Well, Chip, corn and soybean futures were supported by corrective buying overnight while wheat pivoted around unchanged. Meanwhile, all three major stock indices ended higher yesterday with the NASDAQ and S&P 500 both scoring new record finishes. And looky there, it continues. We got corn up, double digits in the July. Soybeans look pretty stout. I mean, even the meal and the oil look good. The wheats are coming along. Man, we're off to a good start today.
Well, we are, but I'm going to counter with it's about time.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
The market has been under some pressure, so a dime gain in the corn market. We're not going to give it back. I hope not.
Absolutely not.
Back easily, but it is about time.
Yeah. Well, speaking of it's about time, Senate Ag Committee Chair Debbie Stabenow expressed significant concerns regarding the House Ag Committee's Farm Bill, particularly its provisions related to commodity programs. Stabenow's criticism reflects broader opposition to the bill's approach, which some argue favors wealthier farmers and specific commodities at the expense of other priorities, such as climate funding and food aid. Stabenow said she is eyeing the post-election lame duck session of Congress as the best chance to get new farm legislation passed this year.
Let's get involved now. You should have been involved in this conversation months ago. Mm-hmm. And now that it's a little frustrating. I can imagine that Chairman Thompson is more than a bit frustrated over this.
Yep. Well, Chip, a case of H5N1 virus was detected in a dairy herd in O'Brien County, Iowa, according to the state's ag department. USDA's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service has previously confirmed over 80 dairy cases of H5N1 in 10 different United States. Now, listen carefully to this entire story before you get excited, planet Earth. Listen carefully. But the World Health Organization said a human death was caused by the first laboratory-confirmed case of infection with a subtype H5N2 of highly pathogenic avian influenza. The victim had no history of exposure to poultry or other animals, according to WHO. The person had chronic kidney disease and type 2 diabetes and had been bedridden for 3 weeks prior to the onset of acute symptoms. The H5N2 strain involved in this case is different from the H5N1 strain currently affecting dairy herds in the United States. Important distinction there, Chip.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers out to the family of the person that died.
Yep.
But if he'd been bedridden for 3 weeks already with diabetes and kidney issues, it seems like a stretch to pin it on H5N2.
I'm going to go lightning round here. The Brazilian government has placed an export tax on goods, which has had a notable impact on the ag market, particularly soy meal. In Argentina, the United Maritime Workers Union, in a post on Facebook, said the tugboat's owner chamber is going to strike. Russia will boost financial support to farmers, but is not expected to ban grains exports. And a case of African swine fever has been confirmed on a pig and breeding farm in eastern Germany. Over to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that the animal disease issues in ASF is obviously a big topic of discussion down here at the World Pork Expo.
Yep.
All right. Thank you very much, Davis. Let's bring in Greg Henderson, editorial director at Drovers. How you doing, Greg?
Good morning, Chip. I know you're at World Pork Expo. Let's spend 2 minutes on beef.
Sounds good to me. The carcass weights keep going up, Greg. What in the world is that telling you?
They do. They're going up, and heavier carcass weights are driven by these lower feed costs. I noted you mentioned the corn prices have been suffering, and we've got higher break-evens driven by those higher feeder cattle prices and a search for better grading, Chip. These packers, they want beef, but they still want better grades, and these longer days on feed are giving the packers more of what they want.
Yeah.
Prime carcasses percentage up 2% from last year. It's now at 11.4%. That brings the choice down 1%, but together the choice and prime are totaling 83.8%, which is a percentage point higher. And what that's doing, Chip, is that squeezing those premiums that we see for choice and prime. Yeah. In other words, we're producing more of the prime carcasses, so supply and demand, the price is going down a little bit. In the last 4 weeks, prime cutout has been 20% above choice compared to $28 higher last year, an $8 slide. So, there's a lot to talk about in this beef market in terms of where it's going, because we keep driving these feeder cattle higher, and in response, feedlots are just feeding cattle longer because the cost of replacements is up.
Well, the cost of replacements is up. It's what the packers want. It's because it's what the consumer wants. 83% choice and prime, Henderson. Did you ever think we'd see that?
I never did, Chip.
No.
It's crazy.
It blows me away. Blows me away that there is that kind of demand for higher grades of the beef out there. Hey, thanks, buddy. We'll talk to you later. We're live at the World Pork Expo here on AgriTalk.
AgriTalk is brought to you by United Animal Health, scientifically better animal nutrition. Learn more at unitedanh.com.
Welcome back to AgriTalk here at the World Pork Expo. As I said, a big thank you to United Animal Health for making our coverage from the World Pork Expo possible. With that in mind, let's go ahead and make time for this industry spotlight. Joining us now, Dr. Doug Wabel. He is the president and CEO of United Animal Health. Doug, it's good to see you. How are you?
Wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for your sponsorship of our efforts down here at the World Pork Expo. We certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm glad we can do it.
All right. This is an important conversation that we're going to have here, Doug. It's such an important thing that United Animal Health does. and it is the John B. Swisher Leadership Award. Explain to us what the award is and what's the criteria.
Yeah, I mean, we started this award, I believe, in 2009, and in honor of our founder, John B. Swisher.
Mm-hmm.
And, he started our company with a focus on the swine industry. And so we wanted to honor his legacy and honor individuals who had that same impact in terms of having a significant leadership impact on the industry, and just an impact. Those people that have had a long-term impact on our industry have impacted young people, impacted producers. And so it's really focused towards those individuals.
Well, there's a lot of people at United Animal Health that have had that kind of impact. And John is still with us, right?
John is with us. He's, I think he's approaching 94. And yep.
What does he think of this award?
He's a very humble person. And so I think it's a little embarrassing to him, and he doesn't like to think of himself that way, but he's excited. And he knew our award winner this year, and he's known many of them. They've had great relationships over the years. And so he's still excited that we do this. So,
yeah, we're going to learn more about this year's honoree, Gary Ali.
Gary Ali, absolutely.
Gary Ali. Tell us about Gary and what this year's presentation meant to you.
Yeah, no, it was really rewarding to me, and I actually got kind of emotional this morning thinking about Gary. I've known him for over 30 years, and I knew him as an undergraduate, and knew a lot of his students. We've actually hired several of the students that came out of his program at Missouri, and it was great to see them. And Gary, truly, you could see by the number of people that showed up, he had a massive impact on the industry and the students. The number of industry people that were there today to honor him and honor his wife and family was very, very exciting to see that.
Yeah, it's very cool. Well, thank you for the award. We recently lost Gary, but does it still need to honor the man and the contributions that he made to the industry?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it was wonderful to be able to do that. You wish we could have done it a couple of years ago, but it was nice to be able to do that and see his students and bring them together.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
All right. That is Dr. Doug Waybill. He is the president and CEO of United Animal Health. Okay. Let's get the conversation started here. Started off with I'm just going to put it out there. Started off with the birthday girl. We've got Jennifer Scheich, editor of Farm Journal Sport. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? Everything okay?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm here.
You look
It's a beautiful
great.
day. Thanks.
I mean, here it is, birthday girl and all. I love it. Love it. And we've also got with us Harrison Furlow. He is with the immersion program for the National Pork Producers Council and National Pork Board. Harrison, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. This is my first World Pork Expo, and I'm glad to be here.
Well, I got to know, what's your impression?
Oh my gosh, I wasn't sure what to expect coming in, but man, I don't know what to take away with it. There's so much going on. Great sponsors, great partnerships in the allied industry, and of course, loving what the Pork Board and NPPC are doing as well.
All right. Very cool. Jennifer, I know that this is something that you're very excited about, because we always talk about how do we make sure that the best and the brightest minds in agriculture, the kids in agriculture, stay in agriculture. And this is part of that effort, right?
Yes. Like this, when I heard about this program, I absolutely was like, oh, I'm geeking out, because I mean, without our next generation, what do we have, and they're so talented. So I had the opportunity to listen to Harrison speak earlier this spring at the Pork Forum, and I was blown away. And I'm not just saying that because he's on here. I already told you that.
Yeah.
His ability, his composure, his knowledge, his passion, but all of that is getting fueled and shaped by the National Pork Board and the National Pork Producers Council, who are investing in trying to identify these top young leaders and help them get experiences in all aspects of the industry. But Harrison can talk about that better, but I think it's
tell us about the immersion program. What exactly is it?
Certainly, yeah. So I think that when I think of my outlook on this, it's see a need, fill a need, right? And the need for industry is to develop a pipeline of talent for state leadership in particular, but also at a national level with NPB and NPPC. And so for me, this is an opportunity to get a mile wide and an inch deep on a lot of different topics in industry. My goal is to be a mile wide and a foot deep, right? So digging into all the great content that all of our industry partners have in terms of subject matter, leadership, and personal development. But two, in kind, ending up at a state pork association, ideally, to help generate grassroots support for our pork producers.
Gotcha. What a benefit to the whole industry to put these people out in circulation, right?
Well, absolutely, because the reality is he's super talented, can get up and speak in front of anybody. Any industry is going to want to tap into that. But his heart is in the pork industry. He grew up with pigs. He loves pigs. We've got to figure out who those kids are. We've got to find a way to like meet them where they're at, provide them with these opportunities and lure them in. I mean, it's a lot about them trying to take care of their future too.
Okay. So what are your goals, Harrison?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that when I think about my goals, I don't necessarily think about an outcome, but I think about what I'm rooted in. And I grew up with a great family and a great community back home that raised me in agriculture. My parents worked in the policy side, but I had a passion for livestock. So for me, not only is this opportunity uniquely catered to work within both of those realms, it also grounds me in the fact that the folks who raised me growing up in the livestock space weren't my parents. They were local farmers who took a chance on me. And so now all that I do when I think of my goals, I think of how can I serve the people who initially served me. And so this sort of opportunity where I can take the skill set I grew up with, which is the policy and the livestock, meld it together in a program like the immersion program, and then apply it for our producers. That's what I want to do. I'm not goal oriented specifically. I just want to serve.
Dude, I'm starting to think you might be the poster boy for the if you find something that you love to do, you'll never work a day in your life.
That's exactly right. And, you know, I got a great undergraduate experience at Iowa State in animal science, but I did some other things in the post-grad sort of realm after that, and they just weren't the right fit. And so I think that for young professionals today, if you can find something that really lights your heart on fire, set out and do it and chase that, because I think that life is too short, right, to do things that don't really fulfill you. And for me, I'm here in a place where I get to go to work every day. I don't have to go to work. And I just love being on Team Pork and doing the immersion program.
That's so who should step up? Who out there that might be listening right now do you want to attract to this program?
I think it's anybody who wants to be a servant leader, who is searching for a formative opportunity, not just a job. This is, I think, when I look at the role, it's a project-oriented role. There's some long-term things that I'm doing, but it's a lot of professional development and networking as well. My goal is to be a competent professional, a confident professional, but then also somebody with a great wealth of industry knowledge and a great network. And I think that's what this program's achieving. So if any of those things sound appealing to anybody out in the countryside, you want to be a future leader in pork, and you happen to like things from research, promotion, and education, as well as policy, this is the spot for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Had Courtney Knupp on from MPB yesterday, too. She's involved in international market development. And Courtney's a young person that grew up down in Washington County, Iowa, in the middle of hog country. Some would argue the hog country.
The best place in the world.
Maybe. And to see what she is bringing to the industry is pretty remarkable. And Harrison, what I'm seeing you bring to this industry is just as remarkable, because we do need the leaders. And yeah, you know, some people are born with leadership, but it takes some honing. It takes some practice to be an effective leader. And that's what this immersion program is all about, right?
Exactly right. Lots of great professional development opportunities. You know, the culture at Pork Board is so great, and that's where the first 8 months I'll be spending my time. I'll go to NPPC next, and then my final 8-month rotation will be with Minnesota Pork. So getting to connect with some great producers out there. But when you look at the corporate culture that I'm starting off with at NPB and really forming me as a young leader, getting to understand, okay, how do people become talented leaders? You don't just wake up one day, to your point,
right,
and just exist as one. And so all of that honing that you mentioned, all of that opportunity is here at NPB to start. Looking forward to carrying it on through NPPC and Minnesota Pork.
Well, I think we're in pretty good hands. I'm feeling better all the time, Harrison. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
You bet. Jennifer, this is fun. Yeah. Learning about this program.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. No doubt. Harrison Furlow, the immersion program at NPPC and MPB. Okay. When we come back, we are going to get into the conversation about the state of the pork industry. We've got a lot of ground that we're going to cover. And Jennifer's bringing the team in. That here on AgriTalk.
Time for Markets Now with the experts from Pro Farmer.
Joining us now, Pro Farmer editor Brian Grady. Beej, I take a look at these grain markets, and we've got corn and soybeans moving solidly to the upside. What's going on?
Yeah, really. I'll start in the soy complex, Chip. Soy oil's been the story of the day there. Very strong gains, and more than 130, 40 points in most of the contracts currently. And, the Argentine port workers, they're on a 48-hour strike, so that's given some support there. South American soy oil premiums have really jumped recently, and that's also supportive. And then the crude oil market is posting strong gains here, and that's also supportive of soy oil. But that's spilling over into the soybean market. So we've recouped much of what we've lost the 3 previous days this week in soybean futures here at mid-morning. And the meal market, it's trading pretty solidly to the upside, but definitely lagging the other 2 soy markets so far.
Talk about flipping a switch in those 2 markets, Brian. It's a nice recovery from the price pressure that we had earlier this week.
Yeah, definitely. And spilling over into the corn market as well. It's trading, It's called about a dime higher in most of the contracts here at mid-morning. And wheat, it's trading to the upside, but it's definitely the laggard. And some of that, I think, is the harvest pressure, though we do see the HRW contracts leading to the upside within the wheat complex.
All right, let's go over to the livestock trade. I'm going to call steady and front month hogs a win for today.
Well, absolutely. Given what we've faced here recently, any day that isn't down is a so-called win. But trading just mildly to the upside in the June and July contracts. A little bit of pressure in the back end of the market. Cattle futures under pretty heavy pressure here at mid-morning.
Yeah, feeders leading it to the downside. Thank you, Brian. That is Pro Farmer editor Brian Grady on Markets Now.
Opinions expressed on AgriTalk do not necessarily reflect the views of Farm Journal Broadcasting, affiliate stations, or sponsors. On your favorite radio station or your preferred digital device, AgriTalk is live every weekday.
Welcome back to AgriTalk and the World Pork Expo. We're live in Des Moines at the World Pork Expo. Big thank you to United Animal Health for making that possible. With that in mind, let's make time for this industry spotlight. Joining us again, Dr. Doug Waybill. He is the president and CEO of United Animal Health. Doug, welcome back. And we also have with us Aaron Gaines, the managing partner at Amtech. Aaron, it's good to talk to you. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Thanks for having us on.
You bet. And we have Norma Ali, the wife of this year's John B. Swisher Leadership Award honoree. Norma, it's good to see you. Thank you for making time.
Thank you.
Love it that you're here. But I do want to start with Aaron here. Aaron, just tell me about Gary.
Yeah, sure. So Gary was my graduate school advisor. So I did my master's and PhD with Gary. So got to spend a lot of time with him. But Gary was very dedicated to his family and dedicated to the area of swine nutrition. Had a real passion for helping pig producers. Yeah. And I think if you knew Gary, I think one of the things about Gary is that he had this passion for the industry where he put together unique partnerships and is really a key part of his success. And, he's a world-renowned nutritionist, had students from across the globe. He had 55 students, graduate students during his professional career, I think 27 PhD students and 28 master students. Gary, as if you got to know him really well, I'd characterize Gary as a man of integrity, very kind, and always willing to help others. And so really special.
Yep. Obviously had an impact on your life, your career, and your launch.
Absolutely. I was at the awards presentation earlier, and I told the group the impact Gary had on me. I worked for him as an undergraduate worker during my bachelor's in Missouri, and then I left and went work for United Feeds in the industry because I wanted to go into production, swine production, and possibly feed sales. And actually ended up calling Gary after about a year and wanted to go back to grad school.
Yeah.
And I had that opportunity before I left and ended up going back to do my master's, ended up staying on for a PhD. And so,
Nice.
yeah, it was a good opportunity.
Doug, this is the kind of honoree that you look for in this program, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to have the support of his students and have those around and the impact that Gary had obviously on Aaron and all the other people there this morning, it was just really phenomenal. And we could all aspire to be like Gary in that way.
Right. Absolutely. Norma, you accepted the award on Gary's behalf. What do you think of all this?
I am overwhelmed. I just couldn't believe all the support that I received this morning. Everybody coming up to me and telling me little stories. It was awesome. Just awesome. He would be so proud.
Yeah.
So proud.
Yeah. And it's, I didn't know Gary, but it sounds to me like he's the kind of guy that would look at Aaron and say, Aaron did that on his own. I was just kind of there to help him along. Is that right?
That is right. I think so, right, Aaron?
Yeah, 100%. Gary's one of those leaders that he measured his success through the success of others. And yeah, that's a great leadership trait.
Yeah. I'm sure he'd be proud of this moment, though, wouldn't he, Norma?
He would very much be proud. Very. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, congratulations to you.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. It's wonderful that the industry and United Animal Health recognizes the kind of leadership that every industry needs and the hog industry is lucky to have. So this is really, really cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. That is Norma Ali, the wife of this year's John B. Stewart Leadership Award honoree, and Aaron Gaines, managing partner at Antech, and of course, Dr. Doug Waybill. He is the president and CEO of the United Animal Health. All right. Thank you, guys. All right. As I've mentioned a few times, we're live at the World Pork Expo, and we are going to be working on a report here at Farm Journals Pork, the state of the pork industry. And what we're going to do now is we're going to assemble the team that Jennifer Scheich, the editor of Farm Journals Pork, has been working on in this effort, and have a conversation about the state of the industry. Dr. Kara Hayden, DVM and veterinarian with Pipestone. Kara, it's good to see you.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Good to be here.
Yeah, glad that you are here. And Randy, I'm going to go, I'm guessing on the last name. Keeker?
Keeker, exactly right.
Excellent. Randy Keeker, director of swine production for the Equity. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for having us.
You bet. Brad Eckberg, business analyst at Meta Farms.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about Meta Farms.
We're based out of Minnesota, about a 25-year-old company. We're a software company tracking sow to markets. Got about 1.2 million sows in our program, and about 40 million carcasses go through our system on the grow finish. So a lot of pigs.
Yeah, a lot of pigs. Randy, the Equity.
The Equity, we're a co-op in Southern Illinois. I take care of the management side of the swine division that we have. So we raise pigs for three different integrators and an independent producer. We market about 250,000 pigs a year through the facilities that we manage and run.
Fantastic. And back to you, Kara, Pipestone.
Yeah, so Pipestone has a lot of different branches, but the two that I work for the most would be the management company, so managing about 400,000 sows in the United States, and then the vet services company.
Okay, excellent. Kara, I'm going to start with you on this. Why work on this report? Why is it necessary?
Yeah, I think we have to be having these big discussions. We have to be looking at the numbers. And then we need to be pulling in multiple different voices. So I think this is great because Randy brings so much to the table that's different from my perspective. Brad has a perspective that's different from mine. And so the more that we can throw these numbers out and have conversations around them, I think the more other people will start having conversations and we can continue to move forward as an industry.
Okay, so Brad, those conversations right now with the condition of the industry and the economic condition of the industry, we got to be talking to each other about how we're going to make things better.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. Because if we're just isolating ourselves, I mean, we can't. We need to be able to collaborate with other people to be able to say, hey, what are your issues? What are my issues? Especially like from a vet perspective, if you can have vet to vet conversations, say, hey, where are these pigs going? What are the health? So that we can actually work together to try to keep disease out and try not to shoot ourselves in the foot, really, from a production standpoint.
Right.
So.
Right. Randy?
Yeah, I always say you can't manage what you don't measure. And so using Brad's platform, our company uses his platform. He provides some good insights and provides different ways that we can analyze that data. And then from the top down and taking it to the people that work in the barns and telling them these are the KPIs that you need to really be interested in, or key performance indicators. And this is what's going to give our producer the best chance for profitability. So he's going to continue to be able to afford to put pigs in these barns.
Do you feel like you're getting all the information that you need?
You got to sift through a lot of it, but they've got a really good staff there that provides us and guides us to which information is best impactful. And for my situation, like I said, I got 3 different integrators and independent, and what numbers they want is and what they pay attention to is different than each other. So one of them is really cost driven. Another one is performance driven. And the numbers that I work with MetaFarms, they do a good job of getting us what we need for those individual customers.
Yeah, Brad, and making sure that each decision maker is getting the information that they need. It's got to be critical.
Real-time information is everybody wants.
There you go.
What is going on as fast as I absolutely can so that I can react if I need to move people around, if I need to be able to change the flow and stuff. Real-time information is absolutely huge, and putting the right information in the right hands for that right role is something that we try to strive for every day.
Yeah. Kara, I want to, in the time that we've got left here in this segment, I want to address this issue. Animal health. If it's not the first thing that comes up at World Pork Expo, it's the second.
Yep.
I mean, it's right at the top of the list. Is animal health, from a veterinarian's perspective, a healthy animal, and animal health from a producer's perspective, efficiency, are those two things aligned?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think more and more people are starting to see the value of a healthy pig.
Yep.
I mean, veterinarians, we always have, right? But I think it's become really obvious to the producers that I work with. It is so fun to raise healthy pigs.
Mm-hmm.
And anymore with some of the challenges that we have, hemolytic E. coli, PRRS, we have all talked to somebody who's like, I don't even want to go in the barn today.
Right.
This career that I love, I don't love it right now because of pig health. And so I think everybody's starting to realize that pig health is a huge make or break in the industry.
It's showing up in efficiency in the farrowing house in a big way. I mean, the Christmas surprise was there for a long time. PRRS.
Yep.
But with the number of pigs that we're saving per litter now, it's like off the charts. That's got to be all pig health.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the foundation of these farms that are having astronomical numbers, it's absolutely pig health.
Yeah.
So you just cannot achieve some of these amazing numbers that Brad is showing if you don't have a foundation of a healthy sow and a healthy pig.
Yeah. Randy, nobody likes dragging deads out.
No, they don't. And we've got plenty. So I would say I reiterate what she's saying on the health side, but I do see some unhealthy flows.
Yeah.
And I see the morale in the barn for those producers. Some of those guys have had those unhealthy flows. And for whatever reason, upstream at the sow farms, some of those big clunky animals can't get things changed fast enough, and they can't execute some of those health protocols the way that they want to. And it funnels downstream, and it takes a lot out of these guys when they have to drag those pigs out.
All right. Guys, we're at the end of this first segment already. That went by in a hurry. Stick around. I want to continue the conversation. Next, when we come back, let's talk about bringing some profitability back into the industry. I want to get into that. I also just, the industry's relationship with the customer. How is that lined up? Is everything in its proper place to build demand for the product that you're all producing going forward? We are live at the World Pork Expo in Des Moines. Thank you again to United Animal Health for making our coverage down here in Des Moines possible. We'll be back to talk the state of the pork industry.
AgriTalk is brought to you by United Animal Health, scientifically better animal nutrition. Learn more at unitedamh.com.
Welcome back to AgriTalk and the World Pork Expo in Des Moines. Big thank you to United Animal Health for making our coverage possible here in Des Moines. We are talking about the State of the Pork report. First things first, Brad, what's the timing of this? The report, when are you doing it? How is it going to be available? Why should people be looking for it?
Yeah, no, definitely. So we do on our last podcast, we did one on basically the 2023 performance, so the calendar year, and we're wanting to kind of have a quarterly kind of update, kind of what are we seeing in those numbers, and kind of what are some of the factors that go into that. So really want to kind of keep that really timeliness.
Yeah.
So when that quarter ends, so for the end of quarter two, it'll be June 30th. That we're planning on meeting within the next few weeks after that, so that we can review the numbers and have that feedback and share it with the audience.
There's always some currency to it, some urgency to it to get it done and get it out there on a timely fashion.
Real-time data.
Real-time data. That's important. Brad Eckberg is business analyst with Meta Farms. Randy, what do you make of the team that you put together to evaluate the state of the industry?
They're a strong team, a lot of experience, a lot of real world experience, and have a lot of relationships with a lot of different people. I know Dr. Kara there, she sees a lot of different systems and works with a lot of different health statuses. So I think it's a very, very strong team.
Yeah, excellent. Brad Keeker is the director of swine production for the Equity, and Dr. Kara Hayden, DVM and veterinarian with Pipestone. It seems like it all comes back to animal. Even during the break, as we were just sitting here chatting, it's all coming back to animal health. You better have a healthy pig when it comes in the door if that's going to be a profitable pig when it leaves the finishing house.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as a veterinarian, it's really easy for me to say that, but it's good when production and numbers people also chime in and say it's all about the health. I mean, there's been so much work done. If you get a healthy pig in the door, your production is going to be better. If you can keep that pig from getting sick, absolutely your production is going to be better. We talk about one of the main things we saw in the report was these astronomical differences between the top 25% and the bottom 25% of producers. And I think so much of that, it's health that makes those differences.
Yeah. I want to talk about profitability because it's not a great economic time for the hog industry. And this week has just been a pounding during pork week and kind of pulled the rug out from underneath the markets. But, we always talk about break even, Brad, but break even there's a wide range on break even in the hog industry, isn't there?
No, there definitely is. And some producers are very creative on how they maybe will reduce their feed costs. Obviously, looking at different technology, looking at different feeder types, water types, ventilation types, having that visibility. But ultimately, when it comes down to a break-even standpoint, it's all about revenue and expenses. So how can it make as much money and keep expenses low? So,
yeah, and it's a numbers issue right now is what it feels like. And some of the efficiency gains, that pigs per litter that we talked about earlier in the farrowing house is offsetting our reductions on sow numbers out there, but we're putting a lot of product out there on the market, and the hogs that we're finishing are weighing heavy, aren't they, Randy?
Yes, they are. Yeah, we've got one customer that they've increased their target market weight 15 pounds to try to take advantage of the prices. They're driving them up, and we're putting pigs on trucks that are over 300 pounds because that's what the customer wants. So we need pounds of pork delivered to the plants.
Yeah. Yep. Drawing the comparisons between what's happening in the beef industry and what's happening in the pork industry, I don't think we can avoid doing that. We had Greg Henderson on from Drovers earlier, and he was talking about 83% of the beef that are being killed right now and processed are in the choice or prime category because that's what the consumer wants. I never would have dreamed that it could have ever gotten to 83% choice and prime. You're talking about putting a heavier, better finished animal on the market. Randy, is that what the consumers are looking for?
I'm not quite sure if they are. I'm not as plugged in with what the consumers are. Me personally, I can speak for me. I would probably want a little bit leaner animal if I was going to process one myself and eat it and put it on my grill. But I'm not the one that makes those decisions, that writes those big checks. So obviously they know more than I do.
It sounds to me like you probably know how to cook pork.
Yeah, I hope I do at this point.
Yeah,
right. Well, the adjustments that we've made on the cooking requirements on pork, I'm using air quotes for those of you that can't see, but you change the way that people have cooked pork over the years, and you change your attitude about pork, don't you?
Absolutely.
145 degrees when it hits that number, because there's going to be carryover cooking on that loin when you take it in the kitchen. it's going to get to 150 before it stops warming up. That's plenty. Stop.
Exactly.
If you want to enjoy your pork loin, stop at 145, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I used to not believe in the thermometer. I'm like, I can figure it out, right?
Oh, I'm exactly the same way.
Too stubborn, old school. But now that I do use one, consistency, the flavors there, and any type of meat, I'm a believer.
I never ever used them, and now I hate to say it, but I barely even get started unless I've got the thermometer set up ready to go.
Yep.
I've even got one of those Bluetooth.
There you go.
The meter.
Oh yeah.
You can look at it on your phone.
There you go.
You got to do it from a
unbelievable
consistency standpoint. There's a huge difference if you overcook it and stuff. So
exactly, and we're kind of having a little bit of fun with it there, but demand is such an important component of this profitability in the industry. We need to talk about the demand side as much as we do anything else. We got to make customers happy. If we can make customers happy, we can take more of that consumer dollar, work it down the supply chain, and get it all the way back down to the producer that's putting pigs in the trailer and taking them off to the farrowing house.
Eat more pork.
Eat more pork. This is important.
I was just gonna say the good news is I've heard more about what you're talking about from many people in the industry at different levels. They're talking about it more in the last 6 to 9 months than I've ever heard in my 20-some years of doing it.
Keep talking about it.
Absolutely.
Keep talking about it. Keep getting the word out. This is going to be a quarterly report. You can go to www.porkbusiness.com to get all the details. This is an effort that, of course, Jennifer Shack, editor at Farm Journal, is helping to, is spearheading and making sure that the information will be out there and available. Thank you to Brad, Randy, and Kara for being part of it. Come back this afternoon. We're going to be right here at the World Pork Expo in Des Moines.